Hello and welcome to Ms. Lowry's third grade ELAR classroom. Let's go ahead and start with word study for today. Our word study objective comes from ELA 3.3b. Today I can use context within and beyond a sentence to determine the meaning of unfamiliar words and multiple meaning words. Good readers use context clues in the text, and visuals to find the meaning of unfamiliar words. They look for things like word parts, examples, a definition in the sentence, visuals with labels, or synonyms and antonyms. Today I'm going to model for you how to use context clues to determine the meaning of an unknown word or unfamiliar word using the selection A Little Help. Alina and her father had moved from Russia to California at the end of the school year because her dad had to relocate for work. Alina was just learning to speak English, and I really wanted to learn to speak Russian. Although we couldn't really speak to each other, we still became good friends. So I'm seeing that the meaning, or the word that I'm trying to determine the meaning of, is relocate. So I want to ask myself, what clues can I find that will help me figure out the meaning of the word relocate? So in the sentence, they said that they relocated because he moved from Russia to California. So that's, to me, is going to help me determine the meaning of relocate. From there, I'm determining that the meaning of relocate is to move to a new place. So read the sentence from paragraph 2. Alina and her father had moved from Russia to California at the end of the school year because her dad had to relocate for work. What is the meaning of relocate as it is used above? A, move back to an old house. B, learn to do something new. C, start doing a harder job. Or D, go live in a new place. So from there, I eliminated the answer choice B, to learn to do something new. They're moving, they're not learning to do something new, so that's why I got rid of B. The next one I eliminated was C, start doing a harder job. They didn't really talk about him doing a harder job, they just talked about him moving from one place to another. So then I have A, move back to an old house, or D, go live in a new place. So based upon the clues that I pulled from the text and the definition that I created, I'm determining that the meaning is D, to go live in a new place. Now it's your turn. I want you to determine the meaning of the word swished as it is used in paragraph 15. First, you're going to read the selection, do not drop. Then you want to think about what clues can you find in the text that will help you figure out the meaning of the word swished. Create your own meaning or definition. Eliminate two answer choices that does not make sense. And then you're going to choose your best answer choice from your remaining two. All right, let's check our answers. Do not drop. How did you get so big? I asked. Her tail switched from side to side, knocking over my dollhouse. Before I could stop her, she squeezed into my bed with me. I was still wide awake, but my dragon was asleep. Smoke poured out of her nose as a small flame escaped her mouth. What clues can you find that help you to figure out the meaning of the word swished? Some clues that I picked out were knocking over my dollhouse, her tail, because her tail is the thing that is doing the action, and side to side. And from there, I determined the meaning is something about knocking over something by moving it. So from there, I eliminated the first answer choice of A, stop. Because if her tail is swishing, it's not stopping, so A is not going to make any sense. And then D, walk. It doesn't really make sense that her tail walked. So then I have B, to make, or C, to move. And from there, I determined that the best answer choice is going to be C, to move. So her tail moved from side to side and then knocked over the dollhouse. So if you chose C, good job. Let's go ahead and move into our reading lesson. Our reading objective comes from ELA 3.8a. Today I can determine the theme of a selection. The theme is the main message, lesson, or moral of the text. So a theme can be implied, and we have to use clues to figure it out. So we have to think about what happens to the characters, how do these characters react, what do the characters learn, and how do the characters grow or change. So the key thing that we need to ask ourselves is, what is the author trying to teach me? As we read, I want you to think about what lesson the author wants us, the reader, to learn. So before we read, let me go over some vocabulary that you'll see in the story that might be unfamiliar. Our first word is illustrate. If you illustrate a book, you draw pictures that go with the story. Our teacher told us to write and illustrate our stories. And our last word is snarled. If something is snarled, it is twisted and tangled. The color thread was all snarled together. The Jessica experiment. She, Judy Moody, had an idea, a not bad mood idea. She was going to try to be in a good mood for one whole week. Judy asked her friends, "Hey guys, what puts you in a good mood?" "When I do a really good magic trick, like the fake finger trick," said Rocky. He pulled his index finger, pretending to yank it off. "If everybody claps and is amazed, it puts me in a good mood." "Uh-huh," Judy scribbled a note to herself. "I get in a good mood when I'm done with my homework," said Frank. "Uh-huh, uh-huh." Judy looked at her notes. Next, it was Amy's turn. "Writing stories puts me in a good mood. I dream stuff up and make it into a book and illustrate it." Judy scribbled some more. She looked at her notes. 1, magic trick. 2, homework. 3, write a story. "I can do this," said Judy. "Do what?" asked Amy. "Do what?" asked Rocky and Frank. Nothing. Never mind." Judy ran home and took out her list. Magic trick. She tried a magic card trick on Stink, but all she did was spill the deck of cards everywhere. Homework. Judy did not see how homework would put her in a good mood. She crossed it off the list. Write story. Judy tried to write a story. The story could go on and on and on. What a lemon head. Writing a story was so not putting her in a good mood. Who else could she get ideas from? Mom? Dad? Stink? It had to be somebody smart and somebody who never got sent to Antarctica. What was Judy trying to accomplish? Use the following sentence stem to answer the sentence. Judy was trying to blank. Wait just a ding dong minute. What could be more perfect than to talk to little Miss Perfect? Somebody who brushed her hair every day and followed all the rules and got good grades and had never been near Antarctica. Somebody who had a happy magic 8 ball. Jessica A plus Finch. Of course. Judy could learn the facts about doing everything right all the time. Being perfect was sure to put her in a good mood. All she had to do was study her subject, like a science experiment. She grabbed her notebook and hopped on her bike and pedaled down the street and around the corner to Jessica Finch's house. Ding dong! Judy rang the bell. Jessica A. Not Aardwolf opened the door. Judy Moody, what are you doing here? She could not tell Jessica tell all Finch her secret. Then the whole world would know. I thought we could hang out, said Judy. But you never want to hang out. Never say never, said Judy, pushing past Jessica. Can I come in? You are in, said Jessica. Well, how about if I come up to your room? Sure, said Jessica. I was just going to start measuring things for Measure Up, our new math unit. But that doesn't start till Thursday, said Judy. I like to get a head start, said Jessica. Judy perched on the edge of the bed next to Jessica. She bounced up and down, testing out the jump factor. My mom doesn't like me to bounce on the bed, said Jessica. Check, said Judy. She scribbled, do not bounce on bed in her notebook. Judy stared sideways at Jessica. Her hair was brushed back into a very neat ponytail and she was wearing pink. Judy wrote, put hair in ponytails and wear pink in her notebook. Why are you staring at me? Asked Jessica. It's rude. No reason, said Judy. She looked around. The bed was made and there was 100 million fluffy pink pillows on it. Stuffed animal pigs were lined up in a row on the dresser, so it was a piggy bank collection. No books or clothes were on the floor. No arts and crafts supplies were on the floor. No gum wrappers were on the floor. A pink robot poster on the wall said, Obey. It was creepy, but Judy didn't say so. Your floor is very neat, said Judy. I can see the rug. Thanks, said Jessica. I like my room clean. It puts me in a good mood. Check. Judy wrote, clean room in her notebook. Why are you writing stuff down? Asked Jessica. No reason, said Judy, sniffing the air. I smell cupcakes. Do you smell cupcakes? How does Jessica feel when she sees Judy at the door? Jessica feels blank when she sees Judy at the door. I want you to use that sentence stem to answer that question. Jessica cackled. That's my lip gloss. She flipped open a teeny tiny pink plastic cupcake. Inside was gooey lip stuff. Judy tried some. Yum, yum. Maybe cupcake lip gloss was another key to a good mood. Judy wrote down, wear cupcake lip gloss. You like smiley faces, huh? In Jessica's room, Judy saw a smiley face pillow, pencil holder, and paper clips. She saw smiley face sunglasses and slippers. Even a smiley face mobile hung over Jessica's desk. She picked up Jessica's smiley face magic 8-ball. Can I try? Jessica nodded. Judy had a burning question, but it was a secret. So she asked her the question silently. She asked herself the question silently. Will I be able to stay in a good mood for one whole week? She shook the happy 8-ball. Nice outfit. She asked the question and shook it again. Your breath is so minty. She tried again. You smell great. It keeps telling me I smell great, said Judy. It's the lip gloss. Jessica nodded knowingly. Want to do homework now? Judy wrote, do homework on time in her notebook. She also got her positively pink see-through ruler. She got her positively pink tape measure. She even had a positively pink yardstick. Wow, you have a yardstick? I have a yardstick of bubble gum. It's this long. She stretched out her arms. Well, it used to be. There's actually only 2 3/4 inches of gum left. But the box is a yard long ruler, for real. And it has jokes. And how do you think Judy feels about the things Jessica is telling her? How do you know? Judy feels blank about the things Jessica is telling her because I wouldn't use it for homework if I were you, said Jessica. Judy looked around for something to measure. Do you have a cat? We could measure stuff like the cat's tail, said Judy. Jessica crinkled her forehead. I was just going to measure the carpet. She started to stretch the tape measure across the rug. Boring. This being in a good mood was harder than it looked. Judy's fingers itched. If only she were back in her closet with her finger knitting. She stared at Jessica some more. Do you ever miss the bus to school? Judy asked. Jessica wrinkled her forehead again. Why would I do that? I mean, are you ever late to school? Say you slept late. Or read your book under the covers when you should have been getting ready. Or didn't do your spelling homework and decided to stay home sick. I always do my spelling homework. I never fake sick, and I have a walkie-clocky, said Jessica. She pulled an alarm clock with wheels from her nightstand. It beeps like a robot and jumps off my nightstand when it's time to get up. I have to get out of bed to chase it. Can I try? Asked Judy. Sure. Jessica set the clock to go off in 1 minute. They waited. They waited some more. Beep, beep. Walkie-talkie leaped to the floor. Out of bed, sleepyhead. It zoomed across the carpet. Up and at 'em, madam. It zoomed underneath the bed. Ride and shine, friend of mine. Judy chased it all around Jessica's room. Wow, said Judy. It walks, it talks, it rhymes, it chimes. She wrote down, get walkie-clocky so I'm never late, in her notebook. That was fun. Let's do it again. This time, it's not really a game, said Jessica. She put her clock back on her nightstand. Come on, let's do our homework. Judy looked at her to-do list. She had a lot to do if she was going to stay out of Antarctica. She had to learn about being in a good mood. I can't, said Judy. I have to go finish my science experiment. Science experiment? Jessica sat up straight. Her eyes got wide. What science experiment? We don't have any. But Judy was already down the steps and halfway out the front door. Yippee skippy. Spaghetti Yeti. First things first. As soon as Judy got home, she pulled her hair back into two Jessica Finch ponytails. Then she cleaned up her room like a friend without an RFIEND. Spelling word number 23 on Mr. Todd's homework list. Definition, manic. She huffed and puffed, picking up books and games and art supplies and stuffed animals. Yanorama. Mouse watched her every move. She huffed and puffed more, putting away her shirts and shorts and socks and pajamas. Boring times two. Mouse pounced on the sock. Give it! It's not playtime, Mouse. I wish. She even tossed her finger knitting into the closet. Jessica Finch was cuckoo for coconuts and she thought cleaning your room could put you in a good mood. Next, Judy did her this week homework. Read, 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 spell, 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 multiply, divide, done. Doing her homework on time did not put her in a good mood. Now what, Mouse? Judy asked. She checked her notebook. Eureka! She, Judy Moody, had an idea. Judy dug and dug like a badger to the way back of her closet. She pulled out her last year's Christmas presents. Under the hand-knitted dancing mouse sweater from Grandma Lou was a present from Nana and Grandpa in California. It was a not way cool make your own gum kit. It was a not a way cool make your own seashell nightlight kit. It was a make your own lip gloss kit. Cotton candy, chocolate, cupcake, double exclamation point. Last Christmas, Judy would not have been caught dead wearing smelly lip gloss, but that was before the Jessica experiment. She had to try it now in the name of good moods. Judy did not want to mess up her clean room, so she messed up the bathroom instead. Warm water, sticky hands, smelly flavor, and voila, cupcake lip gloss. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Judy looked in the mirror and smacked her lips. Yum, yum. She licked her lips. Oops. Now she needed more lip stuff. Smack, smack, smack. Lips smacking good. Cupcake lip stuff did put her in a bit of a better mood. Who knew? Judy went back to her room, sang a song of tuna fish. Her finger knitted chain snaked and snarled out of the closet door, up and over, around the doorknob, across the dresser, and onto the floor, where Mouse was curled up, sleeping in a heap of it. Judy tugged an end off out from under Mouse. Who yarn bombed my clean room, Mouse? She said. Don't even try to say it was stink. At last she had time for her new rave, finger knitting. She went to her closet to get some more yarn, but there was no more yarn. Not one ball, not one skein, not even a snippet. She was out. Judy ran downstairs. Mom, Mom, can we go to Bullseye? It's a yarn emergency. Sorry, honey, said Mom. All this yarn costs money. Let's wait and ask Grandma Lou for some yarn next time we see her. But Judy was about to say it was so not fair. Judy was about to say she could not wait. Judy was about to stomp up the stairs, but that would mean she was in a mood. Not a good mood, a bad mood. Judy dashed back upstairs. Her frowny face pillow glared at her. It was only GMD number one. Good mood day number one. Judy had to be a stomp free for the rest of the week. This being in a good mood all the time was not as easy peasy mac and cheesy as it looked. What does Judy learn from her experiment? Judy learns blank from her experiment. When we're thinking about theme, we have to think about what does the character learn and what is the author trying to teach me? The theme again is the main message, lesson, or moral of the text. So sometimes themes have to be implied and we have to use clues to figure it out. We're going to use the following graphic organizer to help us determine the theme. What is it that the author is wanting us, the reader, to learn? And we're going to focus on two characters, Jessica and Judy Moody. So when I'm thinking about this, I want to think about what is the conflict in the story and how was it resolved? What is it that the character learned? Because that's then going to help me to figure out what is it that the author wants me, the reader, to learn. So I'm going to model this using Jessica, the character of Jessica. So the conflict in the story was that Judy Moody wanted to learn how to be in a good mood. So from that conflict, that led her to the character of Jessica. And so in the story, the character of Jessica had to learn something. What she learned was that she could be kind to everyone and help them even if they're not best friends. In the story, even though her and Judy Moody aren't the greatest of friends, she still was able to help her. And then from that, I have to determine what is it that the author, what lesson does the author want me, the reader, to learn from what the characters learned in the story. So from there, I determined that the author wants me to learn that it is important to help others. Now it's your turn. I want you to think about the character Judy Moody. What was the conflict in the story with Judy Moody and how was it resolved? What did the character of Judy Moody learn? And from there, what did the author want me, the reader, to learn? Let's check our answers. So Judy Moody, the conflict was that Judy Moody wanted to learn how to be in a good mood. So that's our conflict throughout the whole entire story. But our character Judy learned that being in a good mood is hard and she has to come up with her own ways to stay in a good mood. In the story, she was trying to use everyone else's reasons or ways to stay in a good mood, but she had to figure out what is it that she needs to do in order to stay in a good mood. So from there, I want you to determine, is the theme that we can learn from Judy Moody to be kind to your friends, or B, you can work really hard to change your mood. What is it that the author is wanting us to learn from the character Judy Moody? A, to be kind to your friends, or B, you can work really, really hard to change your mood. Let's move into our writing lesson. Our writing objective comes from ELA 3.11 DII. Today I can identify the past, present, and future tense of verbs. So verbs can either be in the present, past, and future tense. So we have many verbs in the present tense, and when we have singular subjects, we add an S as the ending. And singular subject means we're only talking about one person or one thing. Verbs in the present tense that have a plural subject, which means more than one person or thing, do not have an ending. We're not going to add an ending to that verb. Many verbs in the past tense are going to use ed as their ending, and verbs in the future tense is going to use the helping verb of will. Let's look at the following examples. The girl plays at the playground. Plays is the present tense. Subject is girl. We only have one girl, so we're adding a s to the verb of plays. But if we look at this with more than one girl, with the girls play at the playground, the girls is plural, which means more than one. So we're going to just leave play by itself. We're not going to add an ending to it. If we look at it in the past tense, the girl played at the playground yesterday. We added the ed to the end to show that it happened in the past. And to represent it with the future, the girl will play at the playground tomorrow. We added the will, the helping verb of will, to tell us that it's going to happen in the future. It's not happening right now. So let's identify the tense of the green verbs in each sentence. So we're going to tell whether each verb is present, past, or future tense. So I'm going to give you a chance to read through the sentences, and then we're going to go through and identify them as past, present, or future. Is this happening in the past? Is it happening in the present? Or is it happening in the future? Is it going to happen in the future? All right, number one, my friend and I walked to the zoo. We're looking at the verb of walked. So if you walked, that means that happened in the past. You did it before. We will look for elephants and giraffes. The verb we're looking at is will look. So if we will look at something, that's happening in the future. We haven't done it yet. We talk to the zookeepers to find out where the elephants are. Talk. That verb talk is in the present tense. We ran over to the elephant area to see the elephants eat. Ran. If we ran, we did that in the past. We're not doing that currently. We arrived too late. Arrived. So if we arrived too late, that happened in the past. It happened before. And number 6, the elephants will eat again in an hour. Will eat. Will eat is in the future. That means it's going to happen in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in to my ELAR lesson for today. So as a review, remember, when we are reading and we come across an unfamiliar word, we should use context clues to help us determine the meaning. The theme of a story is going to be the lesson that the author wants us, the reader, to learn. And we have verbs that are written in the past, the present, and the future tense. We have to look at the endings to help us determine which tense is each verb being written in. So again, thank you for joining my lesson for today. Have a great day and make good choices.